Hello and welcome to Direct Selling today. Today we have someone who can claim that he knows the 50 years of network marketing. Yes, you've heard me right. 50 years of direct selling industry, and we're hearing it from one person, Harvey Conner, the man behind the book, 50 Years of Network Marketing. Hi, Harvey. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to be on your show this evening.
Thank you, Harvey. Thank you so much for being on our show. 50 years of network marketing. How did that started? I mean, what is the idea behind it?
Well, I got started in network marketing when I was 21 years of age, and I was a in the lower middle class farming community. I used to live on a dairy farm, and I ended up getting involved in direct selling, network marketing when I was about 20, I guess about 21. And I barely got out of high school, so I had no education. And network marketing rescued me from terrible job futures, right? So, the thing that changed my life was I was given a book to read called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and also Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. And basically, it actually expanded my mind to the possibilities that I could be anything that I wanted to be and live all my life the dreams that I wanted through the opportunities available in network marketing. So I worked harder on myself in those first a year or so than I did on my business, and I was a runaway success. My first year, I made $70,000 in 1968, 69, when you could buy a house in Vancouver for 10,000. So I have operated in every capacity of network marketing. I've been $1 million earner as a distributor. I've been a renowned leader. I've been a coach. I've been vice president of development and training, field development. I've been a CEO, a president, started my own companies. And so as time has gone on, I just turned 77. And so a few years ago, I'm more passionate about network marketing today than I was when I first started 50 odd years ago. But I wanted to leave a legacy to all of the newcomers into the industry, and especially the existing people, all the things they need to know of what it takes to be a success in network marketing. Everything from how to evaluate a company, the whole idea of timing, compensation plans, training, communication skills, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I spent a year and a half writing this book, and I just had it published a few years ago. So it was a passionate project, and it's going to be my legacy.
Thank you, Harvey, for describing us in such a beautiful way. Harvey, the question comes, is it a book for people who are starting into direct selling, or maybe someone who has an experience for, let's say, about 3, 4 years, and then they're not able to develop teams, and then they should go and read this book?
Well, it covers all spectrums, because one of the things that I've witnessed over the years is that the newcomer to the industry, in other words, the first timer, needs to read my book as well as the veteran. And I'll tell you why. When you go get a degree for a profession, once you got the certificate, you will go searching for a job to utilize your skills with the best company. And but in network marketing, you don't go looking for the best company. A good friend, they come looking for you because they got a miracle product or they got a new opportunity. So here's the problem. It's a double-edged sword. The company you first joined isn't a matter of your personal selection. It's a matter of who got to you first and was the better person to convince you. And you know what? That can be a big problem, because the person who is convincing you to join them, they made a bad decision, and it's the wrong company, the poor compensation plan. It may not even be a legitimate company. So in my book, I go through a criteria. One chapter is all about network marketing industry and what it takes to, how you evaluate opportunities. So for the first timer, there's no reason to be switching companies if you make the right choice the first time.
Okay. Your book stands out for two things. One is the quality of printing and the design and the content that you have put in. It's a really, really very impressive book. Second thing, which I found very different from the whatever is available in the Indian market, is there are some hard-hitting facts also. There are some thing which generally people will avoid saying as a negative information or practical information about the illegitimate organizations. You put in things in very, very perspective about what is there as a fact or what there is as a fiction. Now, Harvey, the question is also comes is that book uh, is associated with the training program also, or is it kind of a self-help book, or I read it, or there are exercise
Well,
involved?
let me tell you, I wrote the book for three reasons. Well, I guess two, but possibly three reasons. One, I wanted to leave a legacy for people to know what it takes to succeed. And that's not only to the newcomer who needs to know how to evaluate a company, but a lot of people in network marketing, they never make as much money as they expected they would make when they first joined. In other words, they had stars in their eyes and they were going to be a millionaire overnight, and it didn't work out. So, and many people who are even leaders, they are mentally stuck in a certain pin rank or whatever. So from people who have been in it for a while, I actually do a lot of information on what we call the inner game. And that is that rather than running around trying to find somebody like me to join your company in your downline, you need to become the person you're looking to find. You need to be that person. And so I teach a lot in the book, in the written word, what it takes to be the leader you need to be to attract the kind of people you need. So I do a lot of that that's the reason for the book. The other reason for the book is that I'm an active leader and an active builder in a publicly traded U.S.-based company in Canada. And so, there's a philosophy that when you write a book, you're an expert right away because you wrote the book. And although I do have the experience to substantiate that I am an expert, I'm using the book through social media and that as a tool to generate leads and people that might want to work with me without promoting my company, but they just they feel they may want to work with me to learn something from me.
Sounds good, Harvey. I think the very exciting tagline is be the one you want to attract. I think that is one line which stands out. Now, Harvey, 50 years of direct selling could possibly be divided in, let's say, 4 or 5 phases. I mean, it could be a phase where the technology was not there. Then the technology got advanced, and now there were 5 or 6 organizations in one country. Now there are, let's say, about 500 of them. So the question which a youngster would ask right now is, somebody in the age of 18 or 20 or 21 looking forward to making a direct selling as a career, what will happen from 3 years from now on? How would direct selling change? What paradigm do you think will change in direct selling?
Well, that's a very, very good question. I can only tell you, like at 77, many of my colleagues would think that what does Harvey know? He's old school. He's old school and he doesn't understand social media. Well, that's not true. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's not true. I have a social media presence, and I've been able to grow a following on my Facebook page of 20,000 followers and about 2,500 on Instagram and about 3,000 on my personal page because I learned and how to utilize, social media. Now, the answer to your question is things have dramatically changed in how we communicate or reach people. There's no question about it with the internet. But the fundamental basics are the fundamental basics. We are in the people business, and this is all about building trust and relationships with others. And, Tony Robbins, who is a very famous speaker, he said that people only will do business with people they like or who they would like to be like. And so you have to establish trust and relationships, no matter how you do that, whether it be meeting somebody in a coffee shop, on a plane, in a restaurant, or you're meeting them on social media. That hasn't changed. In fact, today it's more important than ever to build trust and relationship because there's too many schemy, scammy deals on the internet. So like, for example, I never promote my company or my products by name on my internet pages. I bring value to the viewers, to the followers. And when they want to know what I do, I take them and put them on a direct messenger, and we get to know each other. But I don't, lack of a better word, I don't hustle people on the internet. That's very bad business.
The answer to the question is that technology will move fast, but there'll be balance between the touch and the technology.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think there was a period during the COVID and post-COVID where everything was moving to technology, but I think things are coming back. Unless and until you meet someone, have a cup of coffee, you are not able to bring value to the discussion.
The COVID was a magical thing in a sense, because all the people that were, there used to be a saying, I don't know if they have it in India, but when you tried to recruit somebody, when things are good in the country, in other words, the economy's good, and you're trying to recruit a distributor, they'll say, network market, that's what you do when you can't get a real job, And now what happened with the COVID, doesn't matter what your job was, you lost it. So I used to say to my friends, how about that real job you had? So the point is, it caused a lot of people to begin searching for a way to make money online or at home, because they realize there's no security in a job. So, but here's the problem. The flip side of that is that before COVID and this movement that went to Zoom and all that, we used to have a consistent number of monthly, weekly meetings with large audiences. It's hard to get those audiences now because, if you're doing a monthly recurring meeting, they're hearing the same people most of the time. So they don't want to drive across town, pay for parking, come into a meeting to hear the same thing. They would rather sit home on the internet and watch a Zoom webinar. So that is a challenge. So what I do, I try to have like regular weekly meetings for my team and prospects, but I also have like a get-together social. I call it social sharing, where we will have an environment where people can come into a restaurant and have coffee and biscuits and get to meet one another and bring real value, that we have real people that are involved in this real opportunity.
Oh, I think that's a good point, balancing the business with the social circle. I think that will be a key. Now, Harvey, one question comes is the senior leadership in the organizations, there are senior leadership who are the ambassadors for the organization, who are the one representing the organization. Now, most of the Indian organizations, they start getting these challenges of not being able to bring value to them. You find them, they're earning the maximum, but they're not driving the business as the organization should like to. But on the contrary, there is no book, there are no life coaches or trainers who will address that issue. Now, it's like nobody addressing the elephant in the room, that how would you manage this senior leadership? What do you suggest? You've seen everything from both the sides. How do you manage those senior leadership?
If I can rephrase your question so I can answer it correctly, are you saying that some of the senior leaders who have reached levels of achievement, that they feel an entitlement to reap the rewards, but are no longer doing what took them to get to that level in the first place? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that is a challenge. I even see it in the company I'm with. People rest on their laurels, we say, right? But one thing for sure in network marketing, unlike leadership and traditional business, you know, you're only a leader in network marketing if you're leading by example. And if you're, after a while, there will be a decline in your business. I mean, if you got a rock solid product line like efficacious products and you got a good customer base with residuals, that's great. But if you expect your business to grow at the rank level, advanced rank, you have to be in the trenches. You have to be leading by example. I'm a good case of that right now. I became the top rank in the country for our company, and I really haven't moved much further than that because I have a good six-figure retirement income. But the company did some changes that made it really exciting to me, and it's got my head out of the clouds. And I'm right now very aggressively building towards higher level of ranks. And already within a matter of months, my whole organization is starting to blossom, even with people that were sitting watching me and not doing anything. Now they're starting, to move. So the speed, there's a couple of things. You've heard this before, the speed of the leaders, the speed of the group. And if you're not growing, you're dying in network marketing. And that's the same thing with companies. Unless they have forward momentum with new products, new opportunities, or promotions, they're going to get stagnant and they're going to wilt away like a plant without water.
Speed of the leader is the speed of the group. I mean, that's a very, very good tagline, Harvey.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a good thing you said that, the organization discussed with you your career plans and they created some more rank advancement so that the system, the aggression, the momentum remains the same. Okay, now let's move to something other, Harvey. There are a lot of, the most important thing for an organization is to be legitimate to the state laws, So, and then there are organizations which are fly-by-night operators, not complying. And there are organizations, playing around with cryptocurrency in direct selling or multi-level marketing. How do you advise youngsters to pick up an organization? How to refrain yourself from making a wrong mistake?
One of the challenges we're up against in that subject is there's a statement that I've always made. It said, the allure of fast, easy money clouds good judgment. And so what happens is these companies that are not solid, in other words, they're, like a little bit flaky or not capitalized right or whatever, and don't have experienced leadership, they know very well how to appeal to attract people by promising easy riches. I like to say bikinis and Lamborghinis and Rolex watches and all that. But in our country, in Canada, the United States, the regulatory agencies and supported by the direct selling associations, there's a shift to regulate any company that is promoting easy riches. You're not even allowed to show fancy cars or jewelry or whatever because they think that is a false expectation. So the government is trying to stop that kind of activity. However, what I would say for somebody that is going to look at a company, if it sounds, anything that's shiny is not necessarily real gold. It's most likely fool's gold. And so you need, your reputation is everything. And if you jump at the first shiny object and in other words, you drank the Kool-Aid and you think it's your path to riches and it's not, you're going to bring a lot of your well-meaning friends and family into it. And when it goes down the drain in the toilet, you're going to have a scar or a blemish on your reputation. And in network marketing, your reputation is number one, because if you have to go find another company, you better not have a bad reputation. So what I always tell people to do, the Google is wonderful in so many ways. It's a pain in the butt in the other ways. But if you got a company, especially if it's a service, like Forex trading or currency trading or Bitcoin trading or anything like that, those companies have no capital invested in manufacturing or infrastructure and all that. So you can go get a network marketing software program to produce commission and checks for about 50,000 US. So for very little money, you can have an opportunity company. But if you don't have a real product, that is a red flag to the regulators, the government agencies. But here's another telltale sign. If you see a company like that, the first thing I would do, I would find out who the principal promoters of the company are. Who are the owners? Who's the CEO? And then do a Google search to see what his track record has been. And do you know what's interesting? They've all been involved in a company of the same kind in even as little as a year or 2 years ago, operating offshore out of Croatia or whatever, and they got shut down. And now they surface underneath a new name and a new company and a new jurisdiction. So you just got to be really cautious. You just really have to be that. And in my book, I have a chapter called Regulatory Concerns. And there's a whole chapter on there that I even give you, the reader, some actual trials of companies that got into trouble with the government, to give you sort of cause you to stand back and say, make the right decision. Don't jump in blindly and then regret it later.
I think that's a very valid discussion, Harvey. I think it's what I will do is, probably make a reel out of the conversation, and, I'll broadcast it all over place. And probably I'll translate in the local Hindi language or maybe another local languages for the people to understand. I think it's very important that, we need to understand the regulators and the compliance people perspective while selecting an organization.
I wonder, that's a good, excellent idea. I would look forward to you to doing that. One thing I want to share with you before I forget or we run out of time. When I got started and I was given some of those self-development recordings or whatever, the thing that really struck me and caused a lot of interest was, and this is part of one of my opening dialogues, I like to say that we all came into this world the same way, upside down, naked, and backwards. And when we were born, it wasn't our choice of where our country was or the color of our skin. And we were a human being, and we have this little 3 pounds of mental computer that is actually starting to record everything that's going on, what their parents are talking about, their siblings, and the education system and all that. So the people they become because of programming subconsciously. And I like to say that at birth, we are engineered for success. But as we grow, we're programmed for failure because we're following all of the people that don't know where they're going, and it's the blind leading the blind. And it's very difficult to break away from those chains of a promised job security, to break away from what your mom and dad says to go to university, get a good job, and be a slave to wages. And when the companies you work for, they pay you a high salary, which is a bribery to keep you from pursuing your own dreams. So if you want to be a superstar in anything in life, I mean, a mega success, and certainly in network marketing where there are no guarantees, you need, again, to become the person you're looking to find, and you need to be internally motivated through either inspiration or desperation. And when a developing country comes into the market like India and I've done a lot of business in Mexico, which is a developing country. The people in Mexico, the nation is pretty much poverty stricken. I mean, there's 100 million people. There might be only 30 million, a third that might be considered middle class. But the people at the lower levels, they are doing everything from begging to you name it, just to bring food home and put it on the table. And when you, if you can, they're not looking for a handout, they're looking for a hand up. And if you are able to give somebody a hand up by changing their perspective about who they feel they are subconsciously and get past their program self-limiting doubts, you can dramatically change people's lives. And I've given the birth to so many people's dreams in my 50 odd years, and that makes my heart full. That is what I do best. And but anybody, it doesn't matter where you're born, the color of your skin, the country, the economy, it doesn't matter. If you're hungry enough, wanting a better life, network marketing is an absolutely one of the best solutions I know of in the world. In fact, in my book, I say network marketing is the most powerful self-development, personal growth university in the world, disguised as a business.
I think that's a very big tagline, when I read your book, this line actually stands out, It is the biggest university disguised as a business. I think this one line summarizes the entire business for us, Harvey. I think, Harvey, with this, we come to the end of our program, and it's been such a lovely speaking to you and discussing a lot of things. And I'm sure your book and your personal training sessions, people in India would love to attend. And we would more than happy to, partner you in promotion of your book. And in fact, looking forward if we could arrange a training session of you in India. And
I'd be more than happy to do that.
Okay, looking forward to it, Harvey. So thank you so much, Harvey. And from the entire team of Direct Selling today, thank you so much for giving us time.
Okay. Thanks a lot for having me, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you so much.